How does the Mercedes-Benz ML SUV stack up to the automaker's tradition of luxury? Consumer Reports bought this one to find out. You expect a Mercedes-Benz to have a well-crafted interior, and this one doesn't disappoint. Lots of wood, lots of chrome, lots of soft surfaces, and it's all put together quite well. The seats are covered in MB Tex leather red. It does a really good job of imitating leather, so just skip the leather and save your money. European luxury cars typically have complex controls. Surprisingly, those in the ML aren't all that bad. There's hard keys for almost everything you need to use, although the controls for the radio and the climate controls are somewhat spread out. The volume knob's up on the dashboard, the tuning knob is down on the console. You can typically use these buttons to avoid going through the menus in the screen, but if you do go into those menus, they can get somewhat complicated. Maybe the biggest frustration in the interior is the electronic shifter wand. It is low effort, it does free up space on the console for big cup holders, but it's not all that intuitive to use. Putting the car in park requires a deliberate push on the button on the end. Also, it looks a lot like a wiper stalk, so sometimes when it starts raining, you might swat it accidentally instead, putting the car in neutral. The interior is roomy and comfortable. The big front seats, they're very supportive. They're terrific for long trips. The back seat has good room for 3 adults with firm and supportive cushions. However, if you want a third row seat, you're not going to find one in the ML. You're going to have to get Mercedes Geo if you want that. Getting in and out has a frustration. This optional running board is more for style than function. It actually gets in the way and can get your pant legs dirty. There's good cargo space in the well-finished cargo area. Big windows provide mostly a good view out. However, there's a thick pillar in the back corner that does create a blind spot there. The backup camera has a pretty big flaw. If you shift into reverse and the radio is turned off, no image appears for the camera. The radio needs to be on in order to see what's behind you. That's kind of stupid. The 3.5-liter V6 provides smooth and powerful acceleration, and the 7-speed automatic works pretty well. If you want even better fuel economy, you can get Mercedes-Benz Blue Tech Diesel. Handling has good turn-in response, and body lean is mostly well contained. However, there is a weak point here, and it's the steering. It isn't all that precise. It also lacks driver feedback. That's something of a shame because the previous generation ML, it was much sportier to drive. The ML gives up early in our emergency avoidance maneuver test. It just plows ahead rather than turning. It's perfectly secure, but not all that capable. The ML has a very quiet cabin inside. The ride has some good qualities and some bad qualities. The highway ride is controlled and comfortable. However, over low speed bumps, the ride can be quite firm. Something to watch for. The ML has 2 different tire pressure settings, one in the door jamb, one on the fuel filler door. The one on the fuel filler door is the right one. If you put it at the higher pressure, the ride is a lot stiffer. It's confusing, and Mercedes really shouldn't do this. Overall, the Mercedes-Benz ML does well in our test. It's not the most sporty drive, but it does live up to Mercedes-Benz reputation for luxurious accommodations.